Got it. Okay. All right. So about 3 or 4 months ago, might have been 6 months ago, I don't remember. Teresia has been meditating with us, I think, for about a year now, maybe even a little more. And sometimes, I do all the talking and we just roll right into. Most of the times, I do all the talking and we interact a little, but then we jump into the meditations. And then this one time, we just happen to have a conversation. I can't remember if Teresia said, "That's not my name. It's not Teresia. It's Teresia," or that just how the conversation formulated. But then it got into her personal life, and she shared just out of the blue how she healed herself of blindness um, in her life, and how she explained it very quickly within 2 minutes of what she was, I won't say up against, but just life that's around her, at the same time knowing what she believes and getting through it through knowingness and love. And she was so kind to say that she'd be doing this today. So Teresia, and we're going to dive into that. So Teresia, thank you so much for doing this. Yeah, the world needs to hear this. People need to hear this because, and I know it's going to do something for you too. But just thank you for putting yourself out there to share this with everybody. You are the best. So it's all yours. And again, it's going to be quiet. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but you'll get through it. I'm going to mute everybody, and then Teresia, you're going to unmute I'm going to request to unmute you just so you're not muted. Ask to unmute. And by the way, so just knowing, did you get it? Let's see, ask to unmute. Try that. Oh, there we go. So knowing her, Teresia's story, if you guys see her photo, did you see her eyes? How powerful they are? Wow, I mean, it looks like this photo right here, but you have just such deep, powerful, gentle eyes, and just knowing what you went through, just to be able to look into them is really special. So, all right, I'll shut up now. Let's go, Teresia.
Thank you, Robby. Thank you so much for inviting, asking, for making this possible, actually, this brilliant idea. And thank you, everyone, for being here to witness, just such a beautiful souls. This is the first time that I'm telling my story, or at least this part of my story. So bear with me. I called in all my guides. I'm in God. So, let's do this. So,
yeah.
So in 20, okay, so let me tell you just a little bit, like when I started, like as far back as when I remembered my prayers being answered. That's what I understood them to be as prayer. I was a little girl having a difficult time. I was born in Kenya, in Nairobi, Kenya, way out in the jungles of Africa, like in a small village. And at this time I was kind of helping with the land, helping watch the, animals and stuff. And I had fallen asleep on top of this rock. Now above this rock, it's the, we call it the Lion Mountain. That's where the lions lived. And once in a while, the lion, when it didn't rain, the lions will come down the mountain and grab like, a goat or a cow or a person if they got in the way. You gotta eat, you gotta eat. Anyways, this one day I was having a difficult time and I guess I had fallen asleep. But before I fell asleep, I was praying that, I was seeing all these birds and they were just so free. And I would always pray to the God, please just turn me to a bird, just so I can fly away, just so I can get out of here, and this time I was about 8 years old. And I fell asleep and I woke up to some energy. And I pulled myself up on my elbows and I looked right in front of me, like 2 feet, in front of me was a mountain lion. And we had a staring contest. Now I had no fear, nothing. I just had a lot of peace. And we kept on just staring at each other and I could see my reflection in its eyes, its golden yellow eyes. And we, for me, it seemed like a long time that we were just staring at each other, but I'm sure it was a matter of, maybe 30 seconds, maybe more. And then the lion just went up the mountain, just turned and went up the mountain. And I just kept on gazing up the mountain, following the lion leave. And then when it was gone, I started hearing this voice with a guy that I was watching the animals with, I guess he was trying to like shoosh the lion away or something, like what is he can do, right? But after that, my mother found out what happened, and I was never allowed to go out there again. Now, that was, important for me because, that's what I tap into. And I remember that I was, I was actually never alone. I didn't understand the story then. At that time, for a long time, I just told people, yeah, I guess a lion, I was too skinny because I was really tiny. I guess I was too skinny for the lion to eat me. So it just didn't, right? That was my story. Anyways, now fast forward. In 2017, I started, I've always done different kinds of jobs, but mostly it's things that involve helping people. Whether it's, a daycare center, working with kids, or I'm working with adults, or I'm just holding, space for people, or I'm listening to men complain about their life, whatever it is. I was always thought like, okay, at least, I'm helping people feel better. And in 2017, I decided that I wanted to do more. Even though I could do what I needed to do, I needed a piece of paper to do so. So I was in this Masters of Clinical Social Work program. And one day I was reading the text, and I started reading, and you take notes. I was doing a research paper, and I go to take notes, but I wasn't like obtaining information. I'm like, what did I just read? What's going on? Things were just weird. So, I said, okay. So I read the paragraph again, and I went to take notes, and I'm like, wow, maybe I'm just really tired. So I put the books away, and, I did some other stuff. But that evening, I was like, okay, I gotta finish this research paper. So I read it again, and I went to write, and I looked, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm only remembering like the first two words and the last two words or so. Like the middle part of the sentence, it was completely gone. I couldn't see, I didn't register. And then I realized, wow, I tried to focus on that idea, and I'm like, oh, I'm not seeing the middle of the page. It's like, well, that's interesting. So I went, saw a doctor, got a prescription glasses. She's just like, oh, you just need glasses, your eyes. I'm like, yeah, but I had my eyes checked like 6 months ago, and I was still 20/20. So what's going on? And she said, oh, probably aging. I'm like 48 at this time. So I'm like, okay, I take the glasses. The glasses work for about 2 to 3 weeks. Then they stop working. That dark center comes back again. I go back, and the doctor blames the people, wrote my, made my glasses. They're kind of blaming each other. So I get another pair of glasses, another 2, 3 weeks later, I go back, and I'm just really confused. So I'm like, okay, so, now I'm collecting all these medical information, right? So I sent this medical information to my dad. My dad, he died in 2020, but at the time, he's a medical doctor. And he says, so I'm thinking he's gonna say, oh, go see this person, or go, oh, it's this, or go see that, or go get this done, or whatever. But instead, he says, you need to apply for Social Security disability. And I'm just like, what? And that's the way, my dad was, just, no sensitivity, just, he doesn't like lovingly, he doesn't like, gently, Sandy just says, just a matter of fact, you need, and he said it again, I said, okay, I gotta go. So I continued to, to see other doctors. Finally, I found a retina specialist that did all kinds of tests. And by this time I was driving only during the day, and, and only when it wasn't foggy. I could drive like a clear, beautiful day. I was no longer driving at night because I just, the brake lights, everything was just too much for me. So, but this day was foggy. So my girlfriend drove me to this doctor's appointment. And after, we were there for a couple hours, that doctor comes to me and, writes something down on a piece of paper, and says, and he says, well, what you have is called Stargardt's atrophy. I never heard of that before. I'm like, what's that? He says, well, it's just the part of your eye that's, the back of your eye, your retina, that's responsible for light and structure. which made sense because, obviously I was having problem with the light and obviously structure as well. But I'm like, but I'm still thinking, okay, well, good. Now we know what the problem is. We can find a solution. Well, that wasn't the case. So I said, okay, so what do we do now? What's next? And he says, nothing. There's nothing you can do. It's a very rare condition. There isn't much research about it. I said, okay, well, what kind of, can I, I'm still saying, not hearing. I'm like, what can I do? I need more information. There's got to be treatment. He goes, that's why I wrote it down so that you can research it. Like I said, there isn't enough information on it. He goes, no, I know there's no surgery, there's no medication, there's no, it's not, there's nothing to do. You can't do anything. Eventually you're going to go completely blind. That was how he approached it. A little bit worse than my dad, I thought. So I was like, God, doctors are so insensitive. But I went home that night and just try to sink into it. But I needed at least 2 other people. So I went to 2 other specialists, and they all, and I didn't tell them about each other. They did the stuff, told them what stuff that's been done. But they did the same stuff, and they said, Stargardt's atrophy, and it's genetic. So I started calling everyone, right? I'm like, okay, who in my family has ever gone blind? And I went back 3 generations from United States all the way to Kenya to Africa, 4 generations down, no one. I had an aunt who lived to be 110. Now she went blind, but she went blind at 100, right? So obviously there was a major lie.
Yeah, different, yeah.
Yeah, it was, obviously they just don't know what they're talking about. But I signed up for a while. But this time I had to pull out my master's program. I was working at a treatment facility, so I got out of that. Of course, I can't see patients. You don't know when they're turning blue, so good. Little by little, I just sank into this self-pity, very, very, just serious depression. But now at this time, I was also 4.5 years into recovery. I came through 12-step programs as recovering from alcoholism, or I am recovered from that. But I had, so I was already recovered from that. I had like over a handful of sponsees, and I was still working with them, but I wasn't taking any more sponsees. I was in self-pity, probably would have benefited from taking new sponsees. But anyway, so I, after a while, I had to make a decision. I came to this place where it was so weird. I've never been there before, like where I have to say, okay, either I can choose to die. Now, it was no big deal because I don't, I'm like, no one is going to really miss me. I have a humongous family, guys, but I never fit in anywhere. Like and they love me and I love them, and they're just beautiful, warm family. Especially I have like 6 sisters, and 3 brothers. I have family here. I have family in Africa. I never fit anywhere. I was always like the odd one out, and I was always the one like for weird things to happen to too, like, uncomfortable live events, which I always found odd, right? but so here I am, having worked so hard to, doing what I think the world wants me to do, help people. What I'm supposed to do is go to college, again, and get my master's so that I can, tell people what to do with their life and healing. And, and so, I felt like I was being punished. So I'm like, okay. And still really hard to believe that I'm blind, because come on, I'm way too cute to be blind, right? And I've, I am smart, and I am this, and I went through all the worldly stuff, what the hell, God? But the depression just stayed there. So I decided to watch every TV show that I could. By now, I'm like, obviously, barricaded in my apartment. I'm still working with sponsees, but I'm like, on the phone. because whenever I worked with someone, I would feel better. Whenever I got out of myself, I would always feel better. So I kept on working with them.
Can I ask you a really quick question?
Yes, please.
Was this something that you kept to yourself and like secluded, or they were aware of it? I'm just curious. That like you're.
Well, yeah, they were. This is the weird thing about people, myself included, I guess. I was really big in the recovery, and and big, not, it's anonymous, not big in that way, big, but I was like helping people recover, or helping people find shelter, find food, find clothing. A lot of people come to recovery, they're absolutely like at the bottom.
Mm.
They're bottomed out. They need everything. I would take them to treatments. I drive them everywhere. It's on top of working and everything else and going to school. But I did a lot for the community.
Mm-hmm.
When I lost my sight, it's as though people didn't know how to treat me.
Mm.
They didn't like. It was weird. They just. And by the way, I lost a lot of friends when I went to recovery because most of my friends were like party. Who wants to hang around someone who doesn't drink anymore, right? Who doesn't party anymore. And so when this happened, the blindness, I noticed that a lot of people were distancing themselves from me. Like they stopped inviting me to things. Like I said, I was, and so I had to teach them about me. Like in one of my meetings, I finally, said, guys, if you see me on the street or you see me across the room and you wave, but I don't wave back, it's because I can't see you. It's and I explained what's going on, and I said, please, if you come close to me, if you smile and I'm not smiling back, it's nothing personal. I kind of try to teach them about how to treat me, because I was still trying to figure out this stupid blind thing, right? But also there are people, and even though and people need time to catch up, especially when blindness just blinds you, right?
Yeah.
Out of nowhere. So I did try, but still. And then I say, invite me to, like, one dear friend, she did invite me to a party. I'm like, why didn't you invite me? Because, well, I did. There's no way that I would have been able to come and pick you up. And I'm like, what? Invite me. I will find my way there if I want to come.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So people are just people.
They are.
It's just
They are.
That's all they are. Anyways,
Hey, sorry, really, somebody named Danny had their hand raised. Danny, we'll just wait for questions until after. I didn't mean to interrupt. Unless, do you want to answer a question or keep going?
Let me just finish up.
Keep going. You got it.
It's my first time. Otherwise, I'll forget what I said. I don't want to repeat. Okay, so so I'm sitting there and I'm really depressed, and I just, I'm trying to decide, do I want to live or do I want to die? Because either way, to me, it doesn't matter. But I have to make a decision. I wasn't like in that lukewarm, that flip-flapping, like can't make a decision. I want to live today and I want to die today. Shut up, make up your mind. That's the way I would talk to myself. It's not, this is what it is. And I'm glad that doctor, and my dad was so straightforward with everything. Because then I knew that I didn't need to go and try like, snake oil stuff. I just accepted. And I finally, I said, okay, I got to make a decision. I fell asleep. And I woke up, the most amazing, beautiful, warm kiss on my cheek from Jesus. And I knew it was Jesus. And and I sat up and, on my couch, and I was like, my whole body was just filled with warmth. And I could hear the words, you're going to be fine. You're fine. And right there and then I just said, okay, you know what, God, fine. I'm going to try this blind thing. Okay. I would try it for a little while and see what happens. And once I committed, then it was about just learning how to navigate the world blind. And that was the most weirdest, incredible, place to be, because I didn't know much about blind people. I mean, and I was like, I donated to all kinds of charities. I never once donated to blind communities. So anyways, through a friend at a Bible study, I found this place called Angela's House. And that's in they say, they train you on how to live with your being visually impaired. Now, mind you, by now I'm falling all the time. I don't know how to use a cane, nor do I want to. And I'm just, I've moved in with a dear friend. I'm renting a room and I'm just, oh. So I started going into attending this program where I learned, and by the way, I stopped cooking, because I couldn't, I was so scared of the kitchen. And not just with my vision, it was just losing my vision. It was my entire body was like being attacked from inside out. I hit an early onset of menopause, which, give me a break. That's fine. But on top of everything else, I was ridiculous. And then my arthritis hit, like my bones were basically being eaten. Like I was losing bone mass, I was losing muscle mass. And mind you, I pride on keeping my body in a really great shape and naturally. So it's not like I was taking crap that's now eating me alive. It was just my stress, my depression was just manifesting itself in my body, in my bones, in everything. And I hated my body too. I mean, come on, I've taken care of you forever, and here you are just, like abandoning me, like all the damn humans in the world, you know? And, so I was like trying to get out of my body. So of course that also produces a lot of other pain and aches and anyways, so I'm, here I am and I'm like, okay, I am so sick, but I'm gonna go and I'm gonna join, I'm gonna go and learn how to see the world a little bit differently. So I start at this program, I start talking to people who are also blind, a lot of blind people, more so than I thought they were. We're having meetings and they start training me on how to use mobility, the white cane. And, I learned how to cook in the kitchen to make kitchen my friend again. Come to realize, wow, I need very little. I need to see, I don't need my eyes for as much as I thought I did. There I am in the kitchen in the dark and I'm cooking and I'm cutting stuff. I learned how to cut, start with 10 fingers, you end with 10 fingers. That's very important. Learn where your
That's the
fingers
strategy.
yeah, learn where your fingers are, right? But I learned how to cook in the kitchen and now I'm learning Braille, which by the way is hideous. So grateful for technology. But I'm learning Braille and I'm learning, and I'm allowing myself to learn all this stuff. There must be a reason why I went blind. Maybe it's just to learn this crap. So, now I'm learning 3 languages. So I have the voiceover to communicate on the phone because, it's a whole different way of communication. And then there's, the Braille to read. So I'm not illiterate, I guess. And then there's the job access with voice. So all these commands. And they all, honestly, you can't do them unless you can retain memory. And a lot of people with, visual impairment, they have other things going on. And memory is usually one of those things that's just simply not really well functioning. But luckily, I've always had an incredible memory. So I learned how to do Braille really fast and really good. Before I knew it, I was teaching all this stuff. So, after my program, after I graduate from blind school, can you, just thinking about it. Teresia Green graduated from blind school. What the hell, God? After I graduated, I decided to, I was so like, we had a support group, and during one of the meetings, we had someone come and speak. And she said, you can do everything, you want to, you can do everything possible except to maybe drive. And that's just for now. And that changed my entire perspective of my blindness. I was like, oh yeah, I don't need to see it to do anything. I don't need to see it to ride. I don't need to see it to, and before long, I was like, wait a second. I went blind at the perfect time because of technology. Like I couldn't have gone blind at a better time. Even would have gone blind when Ellen Keller went blind, for sure, I would have chosen death. Give me a break, right? I probably have. But so anyways, I just, started just helping people, newly blind people, learn how to navigate the world too, teaching Braille, teaching jazz, teaching them about the phone, and, teaching them how to cook, how to make your bed, how to, do self-care, you know, um, how to bathe, how to mark everything. You got to mark everything so that you can feel it. Everything is feeling. Anyway, so, I learned how to use all my other senses. And it's probably a good thing because my vision, like my two eyes, I was just really judgmental. That's another story because that's really deep how judgmental I really was with my duality. But um, so anyway, so I one day I'm teaching, I decided, okay, let's get other books. Let's read other books other than McGuffey book is actually like a textbook for the blind that you learn how to read from A, B's to words, whatever sentences. But now I want to read regular books. So we get this one book and I'm reading, and it's so, it's so feeling and I'm feeling and I feel this thing and I move my hand, right? I'm like, it was really like yucky word that I felt. And I'm like, that's weird. And, it's like feel it, again, I'm like, well, it was as though like the word, the energy on the word just like filled my entire body. Like I didn't have defense from touching to how it manifested my heart. And it was a gross word, and I was like, oh, wow. So I tried a few other words and I realized, oh, okay, so the feeling when I feel stuff is really, I don't want to read Braille anymore. Because at least when I see words, I can determine how I'm going to let them land in my heart. So, but I still continue to teach people. And 2 years later, I am just sitting in my apartment now, different place. And, and I said, I don't know. I said, God, I am done being blind. That's it. I'm done. And, I said, there's got to be more, God. This is stupid. Now, when I was, just to go back a little bit, my old apartment, when I first went blind, I was also smoking cigarettes. I don't think I told you guys that story yet, right? Did I mention that?
No, you did not
Okay.
mention the
So,
cigarette part.
yeah, so I was also a smoker. I was smoking cigarette, but I was in the process of quitting. And someone in AA suggested that I do vaping at the same, why I quit, to help me quit. But except in my case, I end up doing both. I'm vaping and I'm smoking. Right? And I
Do you have a
recognize,
nicotine patch as well?
so I just started laughing. I'm like, what the hell? So, so one day after I was diagnosed, I'm in the car just thinking, and I went to pour the juice, 12%, percent nicotine into the thing, but I wasn't seeing that way, you see. So all the nicotine fell on my pants, on my jeans, and I could feel it in my skin. And I was like, great. Now on top of being blind, I'm gonna be, I'm gonna have nicotine poisoning too. I had 2 more cigarettes left. And I didn't want to, go to the store. So I just went up to the apartment and I took one of the cigarettes out. I went out to the patio and I lit it. And I was smoking it, really inhaling deeply. I was like saying, I knew this is my last cigarette. And tears are pouring through my, I'm just crying like oceans, just, I don't like, either I suppress or when I express, I cry tears of blood, I just freaking cry. And so I'm crying, the wind is blowing, I am breathing deeply because I'm smoking. So I'm just taking, and I'm breathing out, and I'm breathing, and I finish the cigarette and I go inside of the house and I close the door. And something just pulled me to my knees. And I started crying. I just said, God, I am done with this stupid shit. This is so stupid. I'm done with smoking. I hate the smell of cigarettes. I hate that it controls me. Take this from me. Just remove it from me. I just cried out. I cried out to where I just passed out on the couch again. And when I woke up, it was time to take a shower and then go to a meeting. And it wasn't until 30 minutes to that, meeting that I realized, oh my God, I have not craved a cigarette. I have not had a cigarette. I mean, and it's AA, so everyone smokes. I didn't feel the need to want one. I didn't think about one, and I didn't say anything. I was just like, because I didn't want to jinx it. I was like, wow. And I just thanked, I was just in gratitude. I just thanked God. And I haven't desired a cigarette until then, right? I mean, since then, not until then, not a single inkling of
Let's
it.
go.
That was, I healed myself of that too, so when I said I am done being blind, that came to mind. When I said I'm done being blind, the lying and the praying, that came to mind. When I said I'm done, being freaking blind, other things that I've healed myself started like downvoting, and I'm like, God, this is stupid. There's got to be more, right? So, and soon after that, I found A Course in Miracles. And I never heard about it until I said, God, there's got to be more. And, I started going to this Course of Miracles, which happens to be just one meeting at the facility where I usually go to my other meetings, which I haven't been to in a while. So I went to that meeting to check it out. It turns out to be just what, Jesus ordered. and, and, so I started, reading that, the Course of Miracles, and absolutely, there are no difficulties in miracles. If I can quit smoking, I can see again, you know? And so then I went to Sedona, I went to a journey, ayahuasca journey. That's what I was called to do. And I went there with a dear friend of mine. And during that journey, I just wanted to remember. It's like, I just want to remember. I knew there was I knew I was so much bigger and greater than I thought of myself. And during that journey, I really remembered, but I came out of there with a couple of things really important. One, that I am not a victim, never have been. They showed me my lifetimes, and everything that's ever been done to me, I've done to someone else. And, and this is what I see in front of me is actually what I have created. So I'm not anyone's victim. And that was big for me because, start feeling sorry for myself and my conditions, especially since they show me that is what I've chosen to go through this lifetime, to overcome, to forgive, to become love. And the other one was that there's only one of us here, as I was shown, and there's only me. So everything that's gone wrong, all right, it's my doing. And I was
Let's
like,
fucking go. What?
what the heck? But that was so clear. And you're talking about, wow, it was like an hour for them to keep on showing me that. There's only one, there's only one, there's only one. Do you understand it now? And I would be like, and it would be like sending me back to another lifetime, but in that moment, another lifetime. And then I'll come back, pop up. There's only one, it's only me. There's no one else there. So I came out with that too. And I'm like, wow, and that helped me to see the world differently, to forgive the world, to forgive myself, to forgive the world for what I've done to it, and forgive myself for what, I thought I was, or who I thought I was. And so, okay, so after that, I continued doing, now of course that's introducing me to energy healing. And energy healing is exactly what I needed, because I'm like, there's no medicals can't help me, psychology can't help me, nothing is doing anything, but energy healing, I knew that would work for my vision, Anyways, so I started looking around, I started doing, other things too, like let's go experience, sound bath or whatever. I'm also doing a lot of meditations. I'm doing yin yoga. I am, of course, I've lost the 30 pounds that I gained, by the way, which was so weird. Um, and I'm just, not trying to find a way, just healing parts of me so that I can open up, the opportunity to heal my vision, because it's all really just a process of healing, and also understood that I'm not sick. It's not possible for me to be sick in any way, shape, or form, because I am divine. So it's just my illnesses are manifested through my thoughts or my thinking or whatever it is. For whatever reason, I put them there so that I can overcome them, so that I can, you know, align with love or whatever reason it is why they're there. And because manifested my illnesses, I knew that I could also manifest my healing. Um, and those are the words that I understood at the time. So one day I'm looking for a QHHT um, 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 person to do my sessions with, and I go to Dolores Cannon website and I'm looking, and this name pops up, and I'm like, nah, and I keep on looking, and another, and the same name pops up again. So I'm looking again because I'm like, ugh. And her name pops up again. I'm like, by now I know how to listen to the universe, right? I'm like, okay, I guess that's it. So I send her an email, stating, my condition, blindness, and looking to gain some healing, da da da. And she writes me back and she says, let's do an introduction. And it's all over Zoom. Let's do a Zoom call, and I'll do an overlay and see what's going on with your body, with your system. And I said, okay. Well, on Zoom, when we do this thing, I could like feel her energy inside of my energy looking around. And she's telling me like everything that's wrong with me, because I didn't tell her about my broken bones. Even though I'd healed a lot from doing intermittent fasting, still I was like I was in a lot of pain. But she's telling me about my joints, my arthritis, everything. She's telling me everything. I'm like, okay. So we started working together. No, she's a doctor of metaphysics, which is what I needed. She would guide me, to, as I healed myself, she would guide me to, find what's going on, like whatever I need to heal. And then I would ask whatever these conditions were, where they came from, or I would find myself in my childhood, trying to, and I don't know why. And then we would ask questions and we would see what, how that manifested to my condition now, like things that I saw that I blocked out of my mind. Of course, they just sit on my energy field, they sit in my body, they show up in my body, or the trauma that I've experienced, even in past lifetimes. And then one day I was, I do, like I said, I do meditations, and I was at a place that she calls medical field. And she said, today we're gonna go there. Now I go there. She can't really see what's happening, so I tell her what's happening. And I get there, and I'm healing dimensionally with these entities. And they're not aliens like like we're familiar with on Earth. They're different entities, like a lot of reptiles. I have a lot of those in my healing and meditation stuff. I spend a lot of time with them. And and even like entities that look like trees or look like just different shapes, different entities. And they're working on my body, and they'll open my body in half, and they're open, and I'm seeing this, and they're pouring energy, and they're removing stuff, and they're and I'm asking what they're doing, like, oh, we're stripping out shame or guilt. We're pouring energy in your spine, we're opening your third eye, or whatever. They just, you can see them like opening my third eye. It was just really cool. And I was like, wow. And so I allowed them to do this. And, of course, I'm part of the whole thing. And about 5 sessions in, after my 5th session, I wake up in the morning and I go in in the bathroom. I'm running kind of late for my meeting, I think. And I go in the bathroom, and so I just have time to wash my face. And I go to wash my face and kind of look up, but I'm like, did I just see what I thought I saw? But so I finished washing my face, and I had it dry, and I take a deep breath, and my eyes are closed. Then I open my eyes, and there I am. And all I could do was just, hi. That's all I could say. I was like, wow, I haven't seen my face in like 7 years, over 7 years now. And, I'm looking, I couldn't see, everything wasn't clear, but that dark circle, because I couldn't see people's faces, that darkness was gone. And, and I couldn't, I couldn't see clear, I couldn't see all the details, but I could see me. I could see like I could see. And I just giggled. And then I walked around my place just looking at stuff, looking at pictures I haven't seen in a long time. I just like, this is, unbelievable. And I'm like in gratitude, and I'm thanking all the angels and all of my guides, and, and Melchizedek, I am word to my body. I know I am in truth, and I'm just like thanking just God for making it all possible. And, and I just, and so I'm like, okay, this is incredible. Of course I want to see more. But but anyways, that was like it's weird. I think of that day and I'm absolutely overwhelmed. And I put away my, I start, it's interesting about healing. Like I've noticed whenever I heal something, I need to see myself as healed. And when I don't see myself as healed, that healed place like doesn't go away. Just like my body, like, whenever I like, okay, so my vision, I'm like, okay, so why am I still carrying my white cane in my bag whenever I go out? By the way, I had a guide dog too whom I gave back so she can help someone else. Way before this, because I was like, okay, if I'm gonna keep a guide dog, I'm telling my body that, I need her. And I'm trying to see. It was the same thing with all these other props, the white cane and whatever. And so when I noticed that I was carrying my white cane around still, I was like, whoa, what are you doing? You're done being blind. So I haven't touched that white cane in a while. But, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that even doing Joe Dispenza's meditations, because I'm still healing. I've healed a lot from just, basically connecting with Joe Dispenza's in a way he does meditations, going to the void where there is nothing yet. There is everything. It's up to me what I want out of there, and bringing it back to my new body. And once I do that, I don't see that part of me as sick anymore. I don't talk about it as sick anymore. You're healed, man. I'm done. And I've been doing this for a while now, and and my joints, whatever it might be, my tummy, whatever I'm having issues with, my flexibility, whatever I'm doing, it just it just goes away, and I become whole in that part. But if I see it, like if I keep on saying, oh God, even doubts, right? Thinking negative stuff. Oh God, that's so annoying, or this, da. Well, that person continues to be annoying to me until I see them in their divinity and see them in their beauty and say, oh, you know what? They're just, they're just going on their own journey. They're just experiencing what they need to experience. And when I see them like that, they stop being annoying. It's just beautiful how it works. But, I'm just still learning about, who I am. And by the way, my creativity has gotten great. I've always been a writer. And nowadays it's just, I am writing so much, just from screenplays to books to music to songs. I don't even know I know how to write songs. But all this stuff is just because I'm healing. The more I heal, the more my channel opens up for to remember who I am. And this journey has just been amazing. So I think I'm done.
Wow. Have you seen everybody's faces as you're talking?
No.
Oh my
It was
God.
beautiful. It was
Yeah.
truly beautiful.
Beyond, right? Marius, keep going if you like.
No, I just want to add,
I
yeah,
have no
sorry.
words.
Yeah, I was just gonna add that the lion thing, right? That's one of my guides. I finally learned that I'm actually from Star Lyra, and that's like the lioness that the beings that look like lions. That's me. That was there checking up on me. That's my yeah. So
I feel that. That's for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
I got so many things I want to share, but Marius, please. No, you're good. Yep, yep, bep, 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 bep. Now you gotta go.
I'm good. No, I'm good, but I have to integrate all the things that I learned from this story, which is absolutely amazing, mind-blowing, but also it speaks to me because some of the things that you heard, Teresa lived, it happened to me as well, but not by blindness, but my situation. And remember, beautiful. Thank you for the testimony.
Thank you.
I'll keep that YouTube recording forever.
Yes, it's recording, and everybody's going to be able to hear this. So I'm going to read a couple. And by the way, guys, no pressure. But if you want to say anything, just raise your hand, and I'll pick you. But again, no pressure. I'm just going to read what. So Teresia, your story is so inspiring. Thank you. That's from Ansuya. From Rupi, thanks so much for sharing such a beautiful story. Luli's joy, right before I was diagnosed with cancer, I also saw a coyote. I knew that was a sign, like yours too. Ooh, that's some heavy, they're beautiful stuff, not heavy, some real stuff. Has such meaning. From Kate, thank you for sharing, Teresia. Your journey is so touching and your way of speaking is so beautiful. Wow, 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 wow. Cece.
You can come. Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
Teresia, your story is so amazing. Just keep sharing your light with everybody. I'm telling you, I had cancer twice, so I can really relate to a lot of the things you said. So thank you for sharing. And I want to ask you, what's the name of the person that you saw that helped you with the sessions? Could you share that information? I'm sure a lot of people here could.
I sure will. Where do you want me to share it?
You guys, you could I'll write a note down. We'll share that in the Dot Connectors thing, just so it's not on the YouTube.
I'll write it and then I'll just text it to you, right?
Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
And thank you so much. Yes.
I was going to ask that as well.
She is really she is incredible, and I've experienced many other healers before her, but she does something. It's interesting. But you're healing yourself. But
Yes. Yeah.
Really, yeah.
I feel like she could help me with some blocks I have. That's why I asked.
Oh, I know she can. She is yeah.
I've been looking for that for a long time. So
Oh, wonderful.
thank you.
Let's
Thank
go.
you for sharing, because I know it's not easy. And thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I know I forgot a lot. Yeah, but thank you for being here and for witnessing. It's
So yeah, thank you, Cece, and thanks for you for being vulnerable right there as well. And because I was actually going to ask that question too, I completely forgot. So thank you. Kathleen, give me 1 sec. This is from Mary Love, one of the most beautiful names and ladies I've ever met. Thank you, dear lady. I'm crying happy tears. You have inspired me so much. Much love to you. From Luli's Joy, I got to go to Leela's group, but looking forward for that recording. Thank you so much for sharing. And she wants that QHHT info as well. And I just, oh God, how you explain, I'm not going to jump into it yet. Lisa, your story is beyond touching and magical. It allows us to continue opening up to what is possible. Thank you. From John Mullane, wow, so powerful, Teresia. Love your smile and how you have processed your life experiences. Big time. From Karen, hey Karen. Thank you for sharing your journey. You are an inspiration. And Ansuya, sorry I have to leave. Thank you, Robby and Teresia and all present. I will watch the rest of the recording. All right, they're coming in now. Kathleen, then I'll go back to the text. Kathleen, it's funny. I was going to say, Kathleen, you're going to share something? I feel like you are. And there you go. Boom.
Yeah, you're good at that. Yeah, Teresia, all that you're sharing, all that power and your heart that like I just want you to know that was apparent before you even shared today. Like that's you, that's in there. And I still remember when you were on the group the first time, and I think Robbie asked you how you found him, and you said, "Where am I? I'm not sure how I got here." It was just so magical, even how you entered our world. It was so cool.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kathleen. Yeah, I agree. I remember that moment actually. Thanks for saying that. Very funny because it makes sense now, right? Connecting dots, just beautiful. Ginny.
Yes. Well, I just wanted to say beautiful story, but there's so much Teresia that I resonated with. I don't have as many siblings. I have two brothers, two sisters, but I'm also the odd one out from and a very lovely clan of beautiful people. So I feel such a connection to you and many other things too I could go into, but yeah, your story is helping me in this journey I'm on. So that's great. Thanks. Thanks. Thanks.
You. Glad to hear.
So beautiful. So one really cool, or a bunch of cool things, like again, how just the relation, or what did the word Ginny just use? Just under, we're not alone, right? Like so many things that you said reminded me of my thought process. The cigarette thing, quitting cigarettes is what reminded me of. I'm like, what? I did it opposite though. You said if I can quit smoking, I could see again. I was like, if I'm smoking, what else do I do that I don't want to do? And that was my approach. Like, it's like, this doesn't make sense. No fucking way. And when I heard you say it, it's really cool. The knowingness that you have, we are not alone. We are one. And after all this, you never changed. You went straight to how can I help others in my position? Like after you were going through what you were going through, you stayed who you were, right? You went right into your role of helping others, which is so beautiful.
Yeah.
And then and no victimization, 100% accountability, just knowing if it's there, you created it, so you can also uncreate it. And then when you're sharing your QHHT experience, it's all internal. How you explained it really visualized how much it's all here. It has nothing to do with out there. You were decluttering. And then you got to the point of like, I go, oh shit, I'm not blind. It's all that shit I held on to. There was like the pieces of paper that were blocking my vision. It's beautiful. And again, it's just like, we're not alone. The way that you think is exactly how I think. It's exactly how Laura was thinking, right? It's this thought process of knowing this thing. No, I am a god. I am a goddess. I am divine. And I'm going to get my ass back there. And it's fucking beautiful. So thank you.
Thank you. Yes, right on.
Right? Thor.
Teresia, good to see you.
You
the way I
too.
don't say your name, and that means so much now. When it's
Yeah.
See you. I love the story about how you started this, about being 8 years old and seeing a lion, and the connection you have with your guides, and the kiss you got on your cheek from Jesus, and you're feeling the divinity within you. And my question, first of all, thank you for sharing your story and your vulnerability, and your laughter within it all just really makes me smile. And the way the words you use and the way you say things is beautiful. The question I have for you is one about judgment. You said that you can be very judgmental, and what you had to let go in order to letting go of judgment in order to heal. Did you feel that as a possibility? And then secondly is about the beings, and the blue beings or the whatever beings that how did you let them in? Did you invite them in? It sounds like you have a very good connection with your guides and spirits. So I'm just wondering, I invite them into my energy field. I'm just wondering what you've done.
Oh, I'm sure at some level I have to invite them in. They don't come uninvited. But I was open for healing at any level with the clear, beautiful energy. And I knew as long as I'm aligned when I'm in meditation, like past fifth dimension, it's all purity anyways. So things there, to benefit me. So yeah, so I just tapped into those energies. But the blue beings, I had the first one showed up in my dream. And then they kind of just show up whenever, maybe because I look for them too. I look for aliens in my meditations, because when I meditate, I can really go deep and I want to communicate with other entities. That's fun for me.
Woo.
Yeah. And so so I get to do that. But, I think it's just it's just a right frequency, I think.
Can I ask something to go off of what Dor just asked? Did they start appearing when you went to the QHHT, or was it prior?
No, I had them in my dreams prior.
Got it. Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah. But the QHT, those are reptiles. They're like the
Got it. Okay.
beings now they're like a little more anti-human, I think. But I'm really attracted to them. Also, to me, whenever I see a reptile, I think, I think like, isn't there frogs or some kind of species that can regrow their own body parts, like tails or something? That's what that reminds me of.
I love it. I love your head. I love your mind.
Yeah.
All right, really quick before Kathy, I see you, and then our global party. I see you, our global party. I just want to read a couple. You are an incredible inspiration, Teresia. You give us all hope. Thank you for sharing this healer information too, as I'm interested as well. Please, 25 years gut autoimmune issues, many blocks trying to heal. Much love to everyone here. Marcel in Toronto. Marcel, really nice to meet you, and thanks for sharing that. So that was for you, Teresia. But yeah, and guys, anybody, again, make sure you leave, message me your info if you're not in the group. This is real energy. This is how we can help each other heal. If you're ready to receive, this is all here. This is how it happens. This is how it works. So thank you, Marcel. Delphine, much love, Teresia. I'm heading to Leela. Leela got a packed house. Let's go. From Deb Train. Deb, so happy you're here. Beautiful and inspiring. You are amazingly resilient, and I thank you for sharing your journey. Shout out to Deb Train. Beautiful, amazing sound healer. She was in Captiva, and she did such an incredible job. From Lala, I am so inspired, Teresia. Thank you so much for sharing your incredible story. From Tanya. Oh, hey, Tanya. I think it's the same Tanya that I've been talking to the last couple of days. Your story is so beautiful. Thank you. I was particularly touched when your guide said you were going to be okay. Ooh, I almost started crying when I read that. I love all the elements of your story. I am on a healthy journey, the big C, but with a gift of finding something that could have been overlooked were it not for the big C. I am about to have my second surgery in 60 days, all on a path of perfect health. Keep being the light. You are a beautiful soul. On that note, I do want to mention with the QHHT, Dolores Cannon's daughter wrote a book called Soul Speaks, and it really simplifies everything, just like this conversation. So Dolores Cannon is who started QHHT. It's called Soul Speaks.
What's QHHT, Robby?
It's quantum healing. It's healing within the quantum realm. What Teresia, she had that. I'm actually certified in it. I haven't practiced it in like 2 years, but so I'm familiar with it. But it's remarkable. It's just, if you're open to like knowing this and it's all real, it's real. And look at Teresia. Like, that's the most powerful story I heard through QHHT. That's for sure, as far as direct contact.
Right. Yeah. But she is like I said, she's a doctor of metaphysics.
There you go. Okay. Yeah. So it's connecting dots. It's more than just that. It's everything, right?
Yeah.
But it's you. That's what it is. It's you.
Yeah.
It was Teresia that did it. There's so many modalities. Like I always say it, there's a million ways you could get a 6-pack, right? Like 6-minute abs. There's 1,000 different ways to do the same thing. It's all preference. Find your path. Find your way. So yeah, but that, just for you, Gina, the book Soul Speak, it just really simplifies everything. It's a book that explains every disease, and the answer is basically the same thing. It's you.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? It's really simple.
It's only you.
It's only you, right? It's only you.
It's only me. Oh my gosh.
All right, Kathy, give me 1 sec. I love it. This is from Edie. I love it. Tears as I hear of your journey. You're so down to earth and open, and how you see divine in all. Thank you for helping me and others, reminding us what's possible. Yeah, it really cleared my mind hearing you talk. from Karen, 33 people now. Let's love and go.
Robbie,
Nimi.
before you move on, sorry.
Go, what's up?
What is the author's name? Because on Amazon there's like 50
It's
books.
Julia Cannon.
Oh,
I'll
okay.
share it I'll share that in the book too, or in the book. It's Julia Cannon.
Okay, I was looking on Amazon. Okay, got it.
Here you
Thank
go. This is the cover.
Okay, perfect. Thanks,
Present
Robbie.
the same types of information.
And there's a quote from the book. Just line, different types of information. What was I just saying? Oh yeah. So Nimi, thank you so much, Teresia, for sharing your story. It's very inspiring and really reminds me how powerful we are. You are a living example of that. So much love for you. I have to go, but appreciate everyone in this community for this experience. All right. Yeah, just gonna before Kathy and then where'd our global party. I didn't forget about you. Teresia cured herself of blindness. Just saying hello. Big deal. Big deal. Smoke on that. Pack your pipe and smoke it. All right, Kathy.
Hi. When you mentioned the name of your illness, as soon as I heard the word star,
Mhm.
I thought, you know what? There's something to that name. And the synchronicity on how you are, what did you call it? You're one of your guides, right?
Starlara.
Yeah, there you go. And there was the connection. And it almost made me think the illness came in a connection to that and who you are.
Mm.
And I
Yeah,
just thought that was amazing. And
uh,
I especially loved how you really zeroed in to how you felt during this whole process, because you totally understood that if you feel it, you can heal it.
Woo.
I loved how you felt the words. That was just awesome. I could just feel your feeling that you felt the words and what that was. So, and just thank you for being you.
oh,
Like,
thanks.
wow, you're amazing. Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thanks.
Thanks, Kathy. All right, our global party. You're up. That's a weird name, but whatever. I'm just kidding.
It's Sarah.
Hello, Sarah.
Aloha, everybody.
Hi.
Hi. It is our global party of healing, isn't it?
Heck yeah. I love the name.
Well, I was really curious about your connection with your non-physical friends, and sort of that was the question that got asked before. But just the deepening and the permission when you, and it sounds like you just courted them through your dream time and through working with other experienced practitioners who have connection with fifth dimensional beings that are often more than willing to help us. So that's where I was wanting to connect with you about that, and just bridging the gap between our fifth dimensional and multidimensional friends that are always available to assist us, and our 3D or 4D bodies where we're here now, and any assistance and inspiration for connecting with those dear ones.
I'm sorry, what's that of the
So
question?
so the question is what if yeah.
What is your
Sorry, Sarah.
what is, you did it through dream time.
Well, yeah,
What-
yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
And how have they asked, or have they asked you to connect with them in certain ways? Is there a process or a protocol that you've developed to actually call them in, or were you working with a healer too that was also getting you to that fifth dimensional place where they could come through and open up your body when you were talking about?
Yes. Most of them, yeah. They did come through and talk to me about and help me to heal my body, which actually they're really funny because I do have some that just kind of giggle whenever I approach the healing. It's like you're healed, but okay. Kind of thing. Because we're all healed. But as far as guides though, I had two in beginning. No, the two guides that I have, the one that was in my dream, and there's another one, Joy, those two, they were actually my guides when I was a little girl before I turned 6 and all hell broke loose. And I didn't know that till recently, you know. And, you know, so one of them has been, you know, so those two have been with me forever. And, you know, because I do ask them questions like, why did you leave when my life became so difficult? Because I asked them to, because I needed to go through that journey on my own for whatever lessons that I have planned. So, I mean, and we all have guides. We all have massive guides. We're so protected. Like, you know, I've learned that too, but we're so, each one of us, we're just so protected. So whenever I want to connect to a guide, you know, either through meditation, you know, please show me what, you know, what, if is there, I'll ask questions like, is there anything that I need to know today that I don't know about myself? Or is there any guides out there, you know, who can come through that can tell me about themselves, or, you know, who want to come through and talk to me or whatever, who have anything to say. But I think it's more of the healing, but like the more I heal, because I'm healing at different levels, you know,
Right.
I think the more I heal, the more I can match the frequency of certain guides. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Even
it does.
yeah, even certain entities. So yeah, the more I heal now, I'm like, I have a new guide from the Orion. Yeah, and she's actually, and she's also a guide to another, you know, another lifetime, of me in a different lifetime, at the moment, like Peril to me, which is really, so I'm you know, the understanding is really deep, though it, you know, it takes a minute. Yeah, so now I have this guide and she's Orion. So now I have the star Lyra, like someone was saying earlier, and star Orion, which is actually the 2 stars in my eyes, which that makes so much sense to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's, yeah, there are people who can help you find your guides. Like I do have a lady that I did take a couple of classes from, and I'll find her name and maybe share it with you or share it with Robby. And she, you know, she has a way of, you know, and what she does is pretty simple. I just don't remember all the steps.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like talk to ask your guide to write down their name.
Right.
Like how to meet your guides. That's what she calls it. She's pretty cool. So.
Well, thank you for sharing also about healing the past lives in this concurrent life and bringing all the parallel lives together as you're doing the healing work. It's such a beautiful spiral that we're all on. And your story is extraordinarily inspiring and comforting for me personally to move forward in my own journey and my own connection with all the multidimensional beings that I'm working with as well.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Nice. Yeah, it's awesome. Thank you.
Sarah, thanks for sharing that and thanks for asking that. I'd say one thing that I approach for me, just I love how Teresia said that there are people that could actually help us. And one thing that I like to, the way that I approach it indirectly, like without knowing what I was doing, all I was doing was basically clearing all the clutter so I could feel. And then once I was in control of me, then I started demanding, right? And understanding and speaking and asking in ways that I know that I'm allowed to. So I had to get to myself to a certain point in order to do that. So not in the process of clearing, because then they'll show up in that process. At least that's how it was for me.
Yeah.
Like in the process of showing up, hey, I'm here. You're not alone. What's that? You know, like trying to familiarize with it. And then you get to the point where you're in control and you know, and they are there and you communicate. So that was just an approach that that was helpful for me indirectly though. That's kind of just how it unfolded.
Yeah.
All right. Cool stuff, guys. So man, I'm gonna, if anybody has any questions, please, I'm gonna close it out with what I wanted to open the show with, as I'm very backwards, as we all kind of know. But if anybody has anything they'd like to share, please do. And yes.
I was gonna say, Thor asked a question about, you know, because I said that I was so judgmental. I don't know if he still wants the answer to that or my
Please.
experience with that or not. But yeah, so I was extremely judgmental, and I didn't realize how judgmental I was. I thought I was just seeing the world the way that I was taught to see the world, except when you judge, when I judge, I'm judging myself. So, there was a time when I really could not stand humanity. Like, God, why did you create all these weird kids and everything else? And with so much, painful stuff and, just a lot of trauma. And, so I later on, I learned that because when I judge, I'm judging myself, that the world was not, broken and, terrible, and people were not, anything other than what I was, what I am, so that helped me to stop judging. So now instead, whenever I find myself judging someone, I said to myself, okay, what about what that person is doing, saying, or being that's in me that need to come out? So now I know that people mirror me, they mirror what's inside of me. And if I can just use that to heal, then, then that's why it was there. So if someone is like, I don't know, bitchy or mean or something, I no longer see them as bitchy or mean. I just say, okay, it's me. There's something, what is that in me? And then I'll sit in meditation or something, and I'll, ask my guides to help me to find that thing and pull it out, because everyone is there for me to heal. It's not the other way around. So just wanted to answer that.
Sure.
I just really wanted to say thank you for answering that question, because I can notice the judgment in me, and it's so quick. Judgment is a sneaky bitch, right? It's all of a sudden it's there, and I didn't even realize I was being judgmental because that's where I've been. And when you say that's really it's me, that is something that I'm learning and I'm stepping into. So thank you very much for answering that, Teresia. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, thank you.
I just want to add, could I add a quick thing?
Please do. And then Kathleen, yeah.
Okay, on the judgment thing, because what was I listening to? It doesn't really matter where it came from, but but learning that our left brains, that's what they do. That's what the brain does. That's where all the judgment. So we all have that. But then, yeah, and I'm the same way. This way I was unaware of it. And it's like, oh my God. Yeah. So I appreciated that piece too. Thanks.
Me too. Me too. I'm glad you said that, Teresia. And Ginny, thank you for all your shares. Really, really enjoy it. All right, Kathleen, let's go. And you as well, Kathleen.
Yeah, and just want to thank you so much, because you're so beautiful, and sharing with such integrity and honesty, and how you felt through it all. And I just feel so much activated in me. I feel energized, activated, and excited for the little things that clicked for me as I continue my work. And I just love you. Thank you.
Thank you. That's awesome. Really.
Love it. I love it, guys. All right. Hey, this Friday, 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to do the Lionsgate portal. If you guys were on this call, this is how energy works. Let's take some of this, bring it to Friday. Let's fill up the cup. Fill it up. Fill it up. It's energy to build off of. This Friday is my birthday. Happy birthday, KC.
Happy birthday.
The old you would go out drinking. The new you is going to do the Lionsgate portal, right? If you're free, join your birthday. Your birthday love would actually. Yeah, there you go. I'll do both. Yeah, no, bring in your birthday energy. My birthday's on the 19th. So yeah, the Leo energy. Let's go. Yes, yeah, right, Krista? Let's go. All right. Let me close it out with what I was originally going to say. Just Teresia's quote, even when I couldn't see with my eyes, my soul kept witnessing the light, sharing a glimpse of my journey through vision, loss, healing, and divine awakening. What felt like loss became the doorway to deeper sight. May my story remind you your light was never lost.
And so it is.
Love it.
Glad we did it that way. It actually, it's nice to close it out that way. Teresia, thank you again. You just got me so excited about life. Really.
Thank you for this opportunity, and thank you, all you beautiful souls. Truly appreciate you being here and all of your input and love. You know?
Much love.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Lots of love, guys. We'll say we don't do this because we have to. We do this because we want to, because we know we have to. If you know it, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. We don't do this because we have to.
We do this because we want to, because we know that we have to.
Let's
wake up the world.
Let's wake up the world. Let's love and grow. Oh, I love you guys.
I love you.
Christina, love. Good to speaking of love. Good seeing you. Edward, hello. All right, guys. Have a beautiful day. I'll have this recording for everybody by tonight, most likely, if not tomorrow morning. And I'm going to watch this one on repeat. There's so much great energy on this channel. And make sure you like it and comment too. It'll help us get this story out to more people. All right, guys. Have a beautiful day.
Love
You.
you.
Didn't forget anything, right? I don't think I did.
Thank you.
Love you guys.